Hey guys, welcome back to my another video, and this video is going to be about the Redux-thunk, and this is one of the middleware which is uh, middleware called a Redux-thunk, and this is used to call a async call on our Redux. So if we want to call any APIs on the Redux, then we need to use I mean we can use any middleware if you I mean if there is custom middleware then you can use also, but Redux-thonks will definitely help you to call the async call. Okay, so we're gonna build a small API app on React, and I'm gonna use this API, try to call this API on JSON placeholder, which just give me the user informations, and I will put this informations of this user on my Redux state, and I'm gonna of course use a Redux-thonks to do our async call. Okay, so let's begin. So here is my app, and this is my the app is React app. It's created using the boilerplate, and let's see what I have inside first. And I have HTML here. Okay, that's all I have, and just I want to make sure that what packages I have installed. Okay, I'm going to use Axios. I have Axios, good, but I don't have a React. I don't have a sorry, I'm sorry, but I don't have a Redux. So I'm going to install this npm install Redux, and I'm gonna also install the React Redux, and I'm gonna also install the Redux-thunk. Okay, so I'm gonna install these three packages. So okay, I'm going to install these three packages, which is good. It's installing now. So the first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in app.js and I'm going to remove this code, which is coming with a boilerplate. So I'm going to remove here and I'll just create only one button. So whenever this button is clicked, then we will get a user. Okay, that's all. It's just going to be very simple because I just want to show you guys how we can use a Redux-thunk on the Redux in React application. That's all, and this button will trigger the event and finally its action in Redux, and it's going to dispatch the function reducer, and it will update the state, okay, of the Redux. And if you guys didn't watch my another video, I have already created a 4 video series for the React and Redux here, as you guys can watch if you want to get more familiar about how the Redux work. Okay, and this video is going to be about the Redux-thunk. So now let's see what happened here. I got the error. Okay, looks like it thought that this button is some kind of component, that's why it's failing it. Now here it's called get user which button, which is perfectly fine. So looks like all my packages is been installed, which is okay. So the first thing what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a folder called Redux, and inside this folder I'm gonna call the store. Okay, it's called store, and this my store is going to be a user store. So I'll just write here the store, and I will use a create store. Okay, and I will get this create store from Redux. Uh, Redux, yep, Redux. Okay, so now once I get this store, I will export this store. Export default store. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly create the Redux store and the reducer first, and I explain briefly of these Redux tutorials already on this video, so you guys can watch it. And for this one, I'm just gonna create the store, and the first is and next step is to create the provider, allow the provider here, and this will tell it has an attribute called store, and inside the store I can pass my store here, and which is coming from store. It will give me a error. It says that yeah, attempt error Redux does not oh, looks like I'm sorry guys, it's not a Redux, it's just a React Redux. uh, Import this is from create store. Yeah, looks like this is the guy. Import a create store. Hold on. Of course I think it is from Redux, it's not from React Redux. Okay, so looks like it. it doesn't know what is my the store create store. Oh, I'm sorry, it should be like this. Okay, and I also need to import the provider, where is provider is coming from. Now my provider is working. Now it's giving me this another issue called reducer is not been. It should be a function here. I pass a empty, nothing. I need to pass a reducer here, and I need to get create a store from Redux like this. Once I get this function, I will put here reducer, and my this reducer is going to be very simple. I'll just call here the reducers. Uh, Make it a little bigger, rename it, make it reducer. Just give a name here called user reducer.js, and this is going to be a constant here. And I'll create a reducer here, and it is going to be a function. And function will check a state here and the action. Okay, and I will create here the switch statement basically. And here I need to provide the my action type, and here I need to create the action type. And let's see, for now I'll just write it down the literally. Great. And my state is going to be, my initial state is going to be empty object, and I will return the state, or I will return the state. I will pass the state from action.payload, payload, payload, payload. Okay, and I already explained this how it really works on another video. So basically, I'm gonna go quickly here. Basically, I create a reducer. It is my initial state and it's empty. And the action will get the two values. To action has a two properties. Sorry, the one first is called type. If that type is get, then we'll return the payload. The payload is going to be basically data. And if nothing is being returned, then I will just return a state here. So this is going to be my reducer, and I will export this reducer. I'll export this default, and my user reducer is going to be a user reducer, and I'm going to use a user reducer on my create store right here. Now I need to import where it's coming from, and once it is coming from, now it doesn't show me the error. The error is gone, everything is good. So now I will also add this extension. So on this extension I can see what's really going on with the Redux state. So for that one I will just copy this one, and I will put it here. And this is really good extension, guys. You guys can also install it to see what's really going with the React Redux state. But we just need to do a little configuration. That is, we need to add this line of code on the back of this create store. Okay, but to do a combine, we need to do if you're creating a combine reducer, then there is a little different ways to add it, which I already discussed in the combine reducer video. Okay, so for this one we was only focusing on the Redux-thunk. Okay, so now once I created I added a reducer here. Now the next is to create an action. So I'll create a user action here .js, and my action is basically going to be nothing. And the first is, let me create some of the action type. So this is going to be action type, and action type I have is nothing, but it's just a get. Okay, and this is going to be a get user. That's all. And now it's a action type is here. So now next is to I will create my another action. This is going to be literally the action. So the action is going to be get user action. Okay, and this is going to be a function here. And in this function now I need to return something here. Okay, I need to return something here. But for now I'm not going to return now. I'll just leave it like this. And this is all going to be a return. And here I will return the user. I get the user action and user action type because we want to use somewhere else. Here is my action type, and my action is created, but I haven't wrote any of the action. I need to write it down here, write down here. Okay, so I already installed Redux-thunk, right? Yeah, I did. Okay, so now let's add the Redux-thunk. Okay. Okay, now we are going to add our other Redux-thunk on our store. So this is what our store is look like at this time. So the first thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna create here the one constant. Okay, this constant is going to be a compose enhancer. enhancers, and in this compose enhancer here, because we also want to use a devtools here. So if you don't want to use this devtool for Redux, then you can literally add it like this here. It says that you can add it the apply middleware. This is a middleware that is a Redux is a middleware, so we need to use apply middleware from Redux, and we can use add a thunk like this easily. But if you want to use this extension, which I have it on the bottom here, then you want to keep this and you want to add a Redux-thunk too. Then you need to do little more under another configurations here. So the another configurations is something related to compose. Okay, we need to get this one to use this one, compose one. Okay, so we're gonna copy this and we will add it here. Window Redux tool that compose, if it's been exists, then it will show up that one. If not, then I will use something called compose, and compose is also coming from Redux. So we already have a compose enhancers. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the compose enhancer here, and in a parenthesis here, now we will use something called apply middleware, and apply middleware is also coming from the Redux, and it's a function. So inside here we will add something called thunk. Okay, and let me check that I can get this thunk, but I didn't get the thunk automatically imported, so I need to import it manually here. Okay, import thunk thunk from Redux thunk. Okay, so now we have the all my thunk is been registered, and here look, it looks good. So my initial state for now is empty object, but when I click the button, then I want to call this API, and I already registered the thunk in my store. So my next step is I already have the action created, as you guys know, but it's empty. So now my next step is to go in my component in app and use that Redux. Okay, to use we need to use or connect a higher order component here, and to connect us in second parenthesis we need to pass the component name. We need to get the connect from React Redux. Once I get this, now it's gonna give me a uh, prop two parameter here which we can use it, and this is standard way to convention is a map state to props, props, and another one is a map dispatch. Okay, dispatch to to props. Okay, map state to props and dispatch state to props, and now we need to define, and in a map state to prop basically we will get the state, and this state is going to be the state for the this is going to be the state for the user. Okay, this is going to be state for the user, which we are getting here. But here in map dispatch to props, here we are getting the something called dispatch function, and we can trigger the action here on dispatch. So now we are returning this, which is good, and here at the time of returning we need to do something called uh, dispatch. Nope, nope, sorry. And this is going to be the action and on the event which we got in the app.component, and basically we are just getting the data. So just do a get, and we'll make this as a function. So if there is anything is provided here, then I mean the argument, then we can get it, and this get we can get it, we can trigger it right here, and inside here I will just do a console log for now, but we're gonna need to trigger a dispatch. Okay, I do console log and test. So now if I go it here, and first thing is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the button here called on click. So sorry, the action called on click, and an action. Basically, what I need to do is I just need to trigger that function, which is called get here. So in a we all getting this, everything's on the props here, and already explained this everything on the video, on another video. You guys can watch it. And here I'm just going to quickly the touch point on the Redux-thunk. Okay, And we already configured Redux-thunk, but we need to call using some dispatch on our action, which we're gonna do now. But the first thing I'm going to show you what happened if I click the user button here. I click this button, then let's see, I'll try to print the props. So I will show you guys what's in the props here. So if I click it here, see, I will see something called get, and I will see the console log here, and it's a state here. And the get is this, actually this function, and state is this one. That's all. But in a props, we could also use this syntax to get our state, and there is a get functions, and we don't have to do a props dot state or props dot get. We can use a state and get directly like this, and yeah, we can see our state here. So I'll literally print a JSON here, JSON.stringify, and I'll print my state, and this is going to be a get functions, and I'll trigger this get function when I click the button. So now my state will be empty, but if I click it, nothing will happen, but test is printing here. The reason why is I did a console log here, that's why it's printing. Now my next step is to call this dispatch function. And in the dispatch function, what I'm going to call is I'm going to call the action which I create. My action, the name of the action is called get user action. So I will use a get user action, and I will import the get user actions here. So here this is going to be a function, so I'll just put like this. So now this need to return a couple of the things. This is not this shouldn't be happen here. It should return something called dispatch here, dispatch, and in dispatch it will return something like this. And here I can call my APIs. So for the APIs, I will use the Axios. I already installed the packages here, but I need to import this Axios here first. Okay, Axios. Import the Axios from Redux. It's going to be from Axios. Okay, so once I have installed, I have import this. Now I can use the get functions, and I can call the APIs here. So I will use these APIs, and I will paste that APIs here. Okay. So once I use this, I can also use async, await and async syntax here. So I'll just use await here. Okay. And here in the front of dispatch, I will use async. And here I'll just pass. I will just put this inside your try and catch. So if there is any issue, then I can see my error here. Okay. If not, then I will see my data here. Okay. Now I need to also return this dispatch function, and dispatch will take a two argument here called type and payload. So for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just send a type called anything doesn't even matter, get, and then my another is a call payload, and payload I'll send the empty for now. And I'll just print my data here from the API if I got it or not. Okay. So now I will click on this button, and I will see that, okay, I already got the data here. Of course, my Redux state is not been in the get function is been triggered, but my Redux state is not been changed at all. All right, because in a dispatch here we just use a get functions, and is pretty much send the empty, nothing else. And I think that my action type is not been matched as well, I believe. Because in a reducer here, what I write is get here directly. But instead of writing a get here, I need to write down the user action type just to make it consistent here. User action type call get. So here, instead of get here, the type, I need to provide the user action type get. So once I use the user action type get here, now it will match here, and if it's matched, then it's going to return the empty array. Here I can put anything, but it's going to return it. So let me put the number 1212 for now. So if I put 1212, if I click it here, then see the state is going to change when the 1212 because I dispatch and my get this user action has been triggered. This is my action type, and this has been triggered, and here it's 1212 because I literally send the 1212, and this is all going inside our async data, and it's working perfectly fine. But instead of 1212, of course, we need to provide the data. As you can see here, my Redux state has been changed, but here it also reflects in my view. So now next step is we need to provide the data from the API. As we know that we already print the data, and it's called data.data. That's all. So I'll just copy this data. Basically, it's going to be not data. I'll put a rest just to make it a little easier. So I will get in something called the data, and this is going to be a rest. Okay. So on a data variable, basically we will get this object here. So I will pass this object on my payload instead of passing the true. So now if I click this button, then I will see my all my this object has been changed here. And if I go in Redux, then see my Redux state has been changed as well. So guys, that's all for this video, and this is how you can call this the API using a Redux-thunk. You just need to install a Redux-thunk. So I'll just go a little recap now what we did. So basically we create our the first thing is we create a store and we create a reducer. A reducer is here. A reducer has an action type called get, and this action type is coming from get users here. Okay, so if it's get user, then it will just return me a action.payload. This is the data, it's just going to be returned. And the next is going to be we also created this get user actions, and we just write it here the async call for the calling the APIs, right? And we also added on our where is it on our index, not on our store. We also added a Redux-thunk, of course, and apply a middleware called thunk. That's why if we added this one, that's why we can able to use this the action here, async call here. So whenever it's async this call has been done, then we call something called dispatch. And in the dispatch, basically it's async, and it will call this payload data. It will push the payload data, and we all calling everything. This is from my, of course, the app.js file. All right, so I'm gonna put this video sorry, I'm not this video, but I'm gonna put this code in a GitHub as well, and I hope you guys learned something new. And if you guys like my video and would like to see my more videos on full stack development, then please do like and subscribe my channel. And thank you very much for watching, guys, and bye for now.